Hey guys, it's Jalen, and just before I even mention what this deck is and anything like that, thank you so much for getting us to 300 subs. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the support. We are so glad here at CBI that you got us to 300 subs, and hopefully many more when we keep doing our Buddy Fight content. So once again, thank you so much. 300 is still a great milestone. Any number of subscribers is just fine. I mean, but like just 300 of you guys supporting us, that's just great. But anyway, this is a Dungeon Enemy deck profile. Here we got the Dungeon World flag, and we've got my buddy One-Eyed Demon Lord Keith 1A. Keith 1A is a size 2, 525, and he has a call cost to pay 1 gauge, and then when he's on the left or right, I can discard the Dungeon Enemy to save him from being destroyed. And he has Penetrate and Lifelink too, so he's got pretty good stats for a size 2. You just pay a gauge, and then you can save him if you want to when he's on the left or right. And he's got Penetrate, so which is really great, so you can get rid of monsters in the center and just do damage. So he's really got a good place in the deck, and that's why he's my buddy. So, um, I, and if I haven't mentioned, this deck is not really complete. I don't have Blade Wing Phoenix or more dangerous Fuses in this deck, which I would run, but for now, I just show you what I've got so far, and it still worked fine. I played it on Friday after the Buddy Fight tournament we had, and it was pretty fun. It was doing really well too. Anyway, let's get on to the profile. This deck has size zeros, unlike Adventures. But anyway, we've got 4 Fate Skeleton. Honestly, I'd run 3, but like I said, this deck is not complete, so this 4th one's a filler. But it's still fine. It's not like it's bad to run 4 of these. It's 3/1/3 size 0. It's just really great because it's got the 3,000 power and the 3,000 defense, which is really great stats for a size 0. I mean, most size zeros are incredibly weak. Especially like here, Mamashima Kobo, or like our teammate on TBI, Jake likes to call him Doge, because looks like the internet meme for that Doge. Anyway, this thing is a size 0 adventure, 1/2/2 is our stats. So he's just there for the 2 crit, while this is 1 crit but has more power. So pretty much it's just here for the 2 crit. I mean, but it's still a great card because it just helps you go in with your size 3s, because both my size 3s in this deck have 3 crits. So if I get out 2 Mamashima with it, that's just literally 7 crit on board, which is just really great. So that's the 7 size 0s. Onto the size 1s. We've got 4 Evil Break. Evil Break is literally just a size 1, 2/1/2. Call cost is pay 1 gauge, and then when it enters the field, I get to search a staff, which is pretty much all the weapons in my deck, which I run 5 of. So he's just literally there to get you the weapons, and the weapons really do help you in lots of situations. I'll do a video on on that, but because I don't want to make this video too long. But pretty much he's just there to get you the staff so you can do some combo plays. Then the next size 1, we've got 4 D1000 Rapier, Dox Cobalt. Dox Cobalt is 5/2/1, size 1. Dungeon Enemy, of course, so it's pretty much just 1000 Rapier deck, 5/2/1. Then we've got the best card in the deck. We've got Gummy Slime. Gummy Slime is love. Gummy Slime is life. I'm so glad at least I got 1 holo. This thing looks absolutely insane. If you don't know what this does, it's got the ability Stuck, and your opponent monsters on the field cannot use move or return to the hand. So return to the hand really much only starts Magic World really, but the move just stops so many decks, and then it's 2/2/3 size 1. So that's the last of the size 1s. Onto the size 2s, which I literally only have 8 of at the moment. I'm very ashamed, but I literally do only have 8. Of course, we got 4 of the buddy. Like I said, I talked about his stats and everything before. If you don't remember that, he's 5/2/5, size 2, lifelink 2, penetrate, pay 1 gauge, and he can save himself on the left to right by discarding a dungeon enemy. Now, why he's so good is going to be explained later in the video. When I show you a really specific card. And then we've got the last of these size 2s. We've got my favorite card in the deck, Skullgone Mazubaha. Honestly, in the full build, maybe I'll just play 2 of him, or maybe none. But like, he's still a great card to me because he's 6/2/5, size 2, vanilla. But his art just looks amazing to me. And then thank you, Jake, for letting me get holos. I just love these so much. But anyway, it's just really great. I just really like this card because of the 6,000 power and 2 crit. Then onto the size 3s. You guys always say I hate size 3s. I don't hate size 3s. I really like size 3s. I just didn't play them as much. But now that I have them, I run 5. I run 2 Master Skeleton and 3 Guardian Dragon of the Ruins. Meteor Rain. Meteor Rain is a size 3 with, Master Skeleton. You can wait up a little bit. Anyway, pay 2 gauge, put the top 2 cards of your deck into its soul, and then it has Penetrate, Soul Guard, and Lifelink 2, and it has the counter ability, Burning Meteor, discard 2 dungeon enemies, and then destroy a monster on the field. So, it's got really great stats, 10, 3, 4, and then has Penetrate and Soul Guard, and has double Soul Guard, because the 2 cards go into Soul from the top. So, it's got really powerful stats, and then just has Soul Guard to back it up. And then with a couple of your weapons, you can actually boost up his already insane stats. And then if you really can, because of his weak defense, just his ability just to discard 2 dungeon enemy, just so you can destroy a problematic monster, is really great. And we've got my favorite size 3 in this deck. We've got Master Skeleton, 835, size 3. You pay 3 gauge and put the top card of your deck into his soul. He has Soul Guard as well. But he has a really great ability that I love in the deck. When he enters the field, I call a size 0 without paying its call cost, but neither the size 0s have call cost. Pay this without paying the call cost of a size 0 from my drop zone, and call it from the drop zone onto the field. So I pretty much can get a free Cobalt, or I can get his faithful little guy right here, Fate Skeleton. So pretty much I can just get all my size 0s once they've been probably dropped by Meteor Rain's effect, or maybe just paid the 3 gauge and maybe one just ended up in there. But this card is just really great because of the 5,000 defense and 8,000 power, and then just gets backed up by a Soul Guard. You got 4 to Nullifier. You pay a gauge, stop the attack, and gain a life. You can't have a center, which is great, so it's like a bit of a better Green Dragon Shield, but you have to pay a gauge, which this deck does not have much gauge acceleration. So this card is kind of limited when you have it sometimes, but it's still great. And I guess the same thing could go for the next card, the best removal in probably all of the game. We've got Pillar Fire. The only thing that really matches Pillar Fire is Power Rate Maximum, but you have to pay 2 gauge for that. You pay 1 gauge, and you cannot have a monster in the center, and then you destroy a monster with 6,000 or less defense, which is just absolutely insane. This destroys like practically almost every card in the game. I mean, Infernal Armor's not touched. Yeah, I said that for you, Hunter. If you're watching this is for you. Anyway, this card is just still one of the best removal, and you have to in this deck, you have to kind of play like a Nullifier because you only have 4 Nullifiers in the deck, so this is kind of your second, because it can just counter and destroy monsters. And then we've got 3 of probably the most important set spell. Yes, this is still only at 3 because you can't use it as often as people think you should. Because you have to have a Demon Lord to cast this. But then at the beginning of my turn, I can call a dungeon enemy, size 1 or less dungeon enemy from my drop zone onto the field, but only at the beginning of the turn also. So I can't but I can still stack these, but I have to have a Demon Lord. But the best thing about it is that there's only 2 not the best thing, but like the only thing about why you shouldn't really play 4 is because there's only 3 Demon Lord itself, but you can't cast itself without having a Demon Lord. Keith Wanade and Dominion Rod, which is a staff, and I'll get to that later. So pretty much there's only literally 2 cards that allow you to even bring this out. So it's kind of hard to activate it, but when you do, this thing just lets you get back your monsters, and you have to pay their call cost. But the only thing that size 1 or less and you have to pay a call cost for is Evil Break. But I don't really call Evil Break ever from the drop zone, because there's no reason to. So this card is just really great. It just gets you back free monsters. Then we got 2 Dangerous Fuse. This card is pretty interesting. It's the only way you gauge acceleration at the same time as a draw power in the deck. Okay, pretty much you grab the top 2 cards of your deck. Just going to grab 2 random cards. Top 2 cards of your deck. Then face them down. Then you show 1 to your opponent. This is Oracle of Tubal. I'll get to that later. Then you just swap them around. Blah, 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 blah. Then your opponent has to pick one. Why? They picked this. Okay, this is the wrong card. So now both cards go to your gauge. This is the only way of gauge accelerating the deck. But imagine they pick the right card. Then both cards go to your hand. They don't know about the second one anyway, because they're only going to pick one. I was just showing you both examples. So either you get gauge or you get cards in your hand, which is pretty okay. Either way, but most of the time you do want cards in hand over gauge, but still the gauge is just as nice because you need it in this deck. So Dangerous Feud, I honestly still need more because this is kind of really neat in the deck. Oracle to Ball, this is pretty much just Dragonic Grimoire in the deck. Discard your entire hand, draw 3, you have 5 life or less. So it's a really great card in the deck. Not really much explanation for that. Then we've got the basically Drago energy of the deck. It's a weapon though. It's Alerta. I'm not gonna say the whole name because it's a mouthful. But anyway, its equip cost is pay 2 gauge and it's 0/0. I know people are gonna hate that, but of course it's still got a good ability. Counteract, you rest it, and then the dungeon enemy gets +2 attack, +2 defense, and it gets counterattack. So pretty much this is your Drago energy, but you usually save this for your size 3s because you can throw this card in the middle because this thing doesn't attack, so you can have a full field. I mean, you can't attack with this, so might as well just protect your center or something with this because it gives it Drago energy. And then the last of the weapons, we've got 2 Dominion Rod. It's a Demon Lord, which is really needed to activate Demon Lord's dungeon. Its equip cost is pay 1 gauge, and all dungeon enemy it's a continuous effect. Just all dungeon enemy gets +1 power and +1 defense. This really combos well with the buddy, One-Eyed Demon Lord Keith Wanade, because he's already 5/25. So then he goes to 6/25, and he has penetrate. And then if he's on the side like he should be, they would have to link attack him most likely. Then I can just discard 1 dungeon enemy and then stop the attack. So it's pretty much just allows me to really go in with my buddy a lot more. And now he's got even boosted stats. And then that goes for the rest of my monsters too. So things like Meteor Rain can get 5,000 defense, which can help, of course, because then not every size one can slap it around. But anyway, that's the profile for you guys. Once again, thank you for 300 subs. We all really we will eventually do a video on it. I just really had to say it. So anyway, hope you guys like this video. Subscribe to Team Bring Infinity for more amazing Buddy Fight videos, and see you guys later.